What's up, Mixed Reactions? It's Tuesday, October 14th, 2025. I'm with Casey, Merritt, Justin, Duncan, and Nick. How you doing today, Casey?
I'm doing all right. Just ready to talk some sports, and I got a lot to say, fellas. I got a lot to say.
Me too.
Same here.
We
Same
definitely
here.
got time
I got
for
a lot to
that.
talk about. We got a lot to talk about.
Yes, sir. No, the Patriots played pretty well. How you doing today, Justin?
Um, Another week, another win, and talk. There's some good talk going on up here.
Amen. Amen. Well, obviously Nick, he won the pick segment this week, so we're gonna lead off with him. I understand he has a few things you want to say. Just start with your thoughts on this weekend, and then whatever you kind of want to talk about being the winner of this week's pick segment.
What happened this weekend? The Patriots went on what? They're on a three-game winning streak. The Rams barely won against a backup quarterback with the Baltimore Ravens, and those Dallas Cowboys cannot stop anything to save their life. I do
They
not
can't
see.
stop the parked car. They cannot stop the parked car.
They're the last year's Cincinnati Bengals. That's all I can
Worse.
think of.
They're worse.
Everything is going their
Worse.
way.
Worse.
Dak's got that MVP season coming, and it just looks like it's just going away every time that defense gives up a touchdown.
Every time the defense gets
It's
on the field, forget the touchdown.
ugly.
That running
It's
back
ugly.
looked like freaking he was gonna just go for 2,000 yards in one game. It was great.
It was ugly. Yeah, I got a few underlying like secondary stats I want to get into about that when it's my time to talk about Dallas. There's a lot there.
And of course, my Vikings didn't play at all, so we'll just keep it as a W because,
Y'all won the
well,
week.
At least Detroit Lions lost, and I won the week too. That's probably the reason why I did win. It's because my team wasn't playing. It's usually how it goes. I'll probably go like 0 and 16 next week. Story of my
Oh,
life.
Nick, when we were in the football pool, you were pretty base. You went against Minnesota, not often, but a couple times.
It's all about like if it's an upset too. That's usually my key is get a couple upsets in there, and that's usually what can win you those weeks. I
Mhm.
feel like the Washington Commanders and Chicago Bears. I felt like that was a good upset. I think that people are underestimating how good the Bears really are, and I think that once they get rolling and Caleb Williams starts smoking, it's over. He's going to be something special.
Interesting how they react without DJ Moore.
Mm-hmm. That is going to be something. I think they'll
Ben
be
Johnson
okay.
has made Ben Johnson's made really good strides for
Oh
that
yeah.
team. He makes a big difference. He is going to develop Caleb into a very solid quarterback. You can tell already just the difference from year one to year two in Caleb's development.
Yep, I absolutely agree that that's really, and not to mention who's going to want to play for Ben. Like they're going to want offensive players love the offensive coaches, especially a players
Yep.
coach, and I think that's what Chicago has.
There's
Could
not
not
a
agree
bad
more.
team. There's not a bad team in that division. I mean, we're only going into
No.
week seven, but all of those teams are. It honestly, I think at this point could be anybody's division. I mean, they're all good teams. I don't think it's gonna happen, but I mean, all three of them taking the wild card doesn't seem far-fetched. There's none of those teams you could rule out of the playoffs. I don't think any of them you could pencil in for the division
No,
championship.
not at this
The only
point.
thing
No,
that's going to
not
really go against that is the fact that Green Bay tied Dallas. That's going to come into play.
yeah.
But
Possibly.
even then, they have all have strong candidacies for making the playoffs. All four NFC North teams.
We
Yeah,
From
they
where
They
we
all
really
have
started.
do.
special strengths and they all have special weaknesses, and I can tell you each and every one.
Yep.
And I can tell you this: if Minnesota doesn't get it going with just JJ McCarthy, then we're not going as far as I want to. The defense for I don't know Green Bay just they mess with my head. I just feel like Jordan Love's just so great, and then all of a sudden they just start
Yeah, they're
downpouring
an
on me.
enigma.
So,
It makes me like it's kind of irritating. It's not like Aaron Rodgers.
am I being biased, or has Micah been slightly disappointing for Green Bay so far?
A little bit. A little
I think
bit.
so
I mean,
too.
because once Micah went over, we figured Green Bay was going to be the barn burner of the NFC, and they're not.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
that's kind of that was I wasn't trying to be biased, but just by watching Green Bay this year, it feels like, Mike has flashed a few times here and there, but
Sure.
not at the consistency he was with Dallas.
And that could be a scheme thing.
Yeah, it very well could be.
And the North, because I'm
Uh,
looking at the standings right now. Yeah, I mean Green Bay's 3-1 and 1 and they're in first place. I don't know how that works. I mean, their winning percentage
It's
is
because of the
higher.
tie.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
the
well,
least
they've
amount of
played one
losses.
less game than the Lions have, so their winning percentage
Yeah,
is higher.
yeah.
Gotcha.
So, Nick, as we said, you won the week. As we said, if you win the week, you get to choose something we either do on the show or talk about or whatever. What is that going to be, Nicholas?
Well, Casey Merritt, let's talk about system quarterbacks. And I really want to
Oh,
get digging in this. And how it all just started becoming, how did a system quarterback become such a bad thing? And like, why is it even in a discussion? Like, it seems like about, I don't know, like 25 years ago, right around the year 2001, a system quarterback started popping up in my head. And
uh-huh.
as I keep on progressing through this, I'm like, why can't all these other system quarterbacks do the same thing as like the original? So I gotta
So,
say, where do you guys think, as far as Mac Jones, Daniel Jones, Baker Mayfield, who is really a system quarterback and who is breaking off to be a star quarterback?
okay, I want to take this one
Go for it.
first of all. So, as far as system, and I know you're a big fan of him, Nick. I'm placing that directly at the heels of Mac Jones. And the reason I say that is because of how he failed in New England when he didn't have said system around him. Um, and then obviously he is flourishing with Kyle Shanahan as Brock Purdy flourished with Kyle Shanahan,
Mhm.
as Jimmy Garoppolo flourished under Kyle Shanahan. All these average to below average talent wise quarterbacks just thrive underneath his quarterback friendly system. As far as who is the most star, I got to give that to Baker. The way Baker Mayfield has just, I hate this terminology because I don't believe it truly exists. I think everyone's just an athlete, but he has that dog in him. There is something about Baker that has an absolute no quit mentality. He heard the criticism about him and he just improved better and better and better every year. I've said it in a chat earlier today. I think Baker Mayfield's been the best quarterback overall in the NFL so far this year.
Do you think that the Baker being the level of that he's been playing is a result of who he's got around him compared to where he was with Cleveland, with Carolina, etc.?
Give
I
his
do
receivers some
because
credit, but I mean, I think he's doing really well. Just
no,
yeah.
Oh,
you
I'm
do.
not trying to take
Oh, I'm
away
not saying
anything
you're
away
not,
from
but
him.
I'm just saying, kind of
I'm not
taking my take
knocking
on
him.
it.
I'm not knocking him or anything like that. I'm just saying his explosion onto the MVP scene, you have to
Hmm.
attribute to who he's got around him.
A
I
hundred
agree.
percent agree. 100% agree. And here's the thing, and it kind of ties back into what I think Nick's true point of this question is, in that no athlete, no quarterback in any situation, in any sport, can do it without a system. Every player needs the right coach around them. Every player needs that right personnel around them to succeed. And I think
Like,
when they put Baker in this position now with the talent around him,
mhm.
with the type of gunslinger mentality that he has, it's in the perfect position. And you know what really, in my opinion, woke Baker up to this style of play was that short stint he had in LA when he got to learn under Sean McVay.
Hmm.
And I think that really revitalized his career, especially when he got in on that Thursday night game and had that 2 minute game winning drive. That really showed the type of grit that Baker has.
He got to the facility on like a Tuesday, I think it was. They just gave him the playbook and he went out and won a game. That's always the game that I go back to as well. I would actually, yeah, system quarterbacks, give my answer real quick. I'd have to go Mac Jones. I mean, you look at his Q and you look at just what Baker's doing. I think it's safe to say, and he had his moments in Cleveland. That he is probably the least of the system quarterbacks just because he might end up being the MVP and he looks amazing. The plays actually making on the field. Mac Jones, you look at his QBR compared to Daniel Jones in their worst years, and I mean, Mac Jones under 40 QBR for what, three straight years. Um, I think he has the least athletic ability of all the guys. I mean, Daniel Jones is what, 6'5", Baker's a solid 6'3", 6'4", he can run.
Yeah.
No knock on Mac Jones, but I think when you put all the three together, it's he's the biggest system quarterback and the biggest star is Baker, and with the most
No,
potential is Baker.
and that's a super solid point too, because you got to think about it. When Mac was with New England, Justin, you are I don't want to use the word victim, but you are a model of this argument that I'm about to critique here, in that you didn't even think at this point Mac was a starting caliber quarterback, maybe even not even a backup caliber quarterback in the NFL during most of his time outside of his rookie season in New England. You said it yourself.
Yeah, and I think that a lot of it is a product of the system that was being forced on him because he has been and was able to thrive under a Josh McDaniels offense and obviously a Kyle Shanahan offense. He didn't do
Absolutely.
much of anything in Jacksonville, and that wasn't much of a system anyway.
Wouldn't even count Jacksonville. He came in for an injured Trevor Lawrence for a couple times. He didn't even get really a fair shot on that
And that's why I don't really think about that, but I don't really consider that. But
I think what separates from what a system quarterback is to what a professional like the taker of the game is where the athleticism, the hurry up offense, the audibles, all that,
the intangibles.
all that's coming into play for Baker Mayfield right now. If we look at him when he first got with Tampa Bay till now, he's taken the show and he's starting to become his own. That third and 15 or whatever, that run took it into his hands. That's not
I was so
systemized.
pissed off.
That's your game. That's when I knew it was game. I was like, I can't. And then he bombed it after. I was like, yeah.
Nick, I want to dive into something with you because I've known you a long time, man, and I know where your football mind goes, and so I kind of think the reason you asked this question to begin with is you have a system quarterback in mind that you were talking about to begin with,
That's
and
absolutely correct.
And so I kind of wanted you to get into that because I wanted, first of all, I want to see Justin's head explode when you say this. And so
it's pretty interesting how it comes along because you got this guy that goes in to a team off an injured Drew Bledsoe, and not to mention they have everything for the pieces of the puzzle on defense. They make it all the way to the AFC Championship game, which I believe it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers, if I'm not mistaken.
Right.
Mr. Tom Brady got hurt, and Drew Bledsoe came in, but it wasn't even Drew Bledsoe really in that game. It was that defense that held him through. Drew really didn't even have to be there. And then when we get to the Super Bowl, we got Mr. 131 yards, 1 touchdown, and a nice little field goal kick from Adam Vinatieri to seal the game. And I always say, I'm like, this is how everything starts off. And I believe this with all my heart, that when you look at Tom Brady, you look at Peyton Manning, there will never be a comparison for the first 5 to 6 years that I cannot see where he could even touch Peyton Manning as a real true professional quarterback. Peyton Manning came in his rookie year, had struggles, and then the next year came in and dominated, where he came in to play MVP for he got 2 years out of the deal? Didn't he get, I think it was 2004, he got his first MVP. The year he got his ass beat by the Patriots. 2003. And, that right there is saying something like how you branch off. I've never come to fate with that thinking that Peyton Manning was a systemized quarterback. And I always say, if you're ever going to go back as a system quarterback, who are you going to imitate the most? Are you going to go out there and try to be Peyton Manning? Or are you going to go out there and try to be Tom Brady? You're going to go for the easy one. And everybody's like, well, if it's so easy, why doesn't he do it? Everything has to come into play. You got to get fair shots. You got to have that defense that gets you on the field every day. I mean, there's so much things. When shit didn't go Tom Brady's way after the first couple seasons, what did they do? They went out and got Corey Dillon and said he needs some help. And more the fact, it's just that when you make it sound like he did it all by himself. And I'm like, there's so much better quarterbacks out there, but the accomplishments are undeniable. It's all owned by Tom Brady. And I'm not going to say
you're wrong there. I mean, Brady's football IQ is the only thing that you can make the argument that it was Brady carrying. It's because of his football IQ. He had to have help for those Super Bowl runs.
Yes. So, I said, I don't take nothing from Tom Brady as when the GOAT debates and everything come into play. That's when it all starts coming down this trickle effect. So it goes from a system quarterback to a guy that's going to win all these Super Bowls. In his records, when these quarterbacks all start out, Brock Purdy, if he would have won that Super Bowl against Mahomes, we would be talking about Brock Purdy's future, how it's already compared to Tom Brady, and it's already way above it. Drake May, 18 games. Drake May is in the same situation as Tom Brady. Only he doesn't have the talent around. He doesn't have the defense. Now he's got everything going. But I'm saying, as it all starts off, he didn't have the head coach. He had friggin' who did he have? Gerard Mayo. I mean, and then his offensive coordinators. I mean, it all has to come into play some way, and that's what I'm trying to say. And I'll take it to the grave that if you're gonna say
I
Tom
won't
Brady's
deny
a
that.
GOAT, he's
I
the
won't say you're
greatest
wrong.
system quarterback to ever live. And I will say that.
I
Love
won't
how
say
he
you're
added
wrong.
this
I won't say
there.
you're wrong. I mean, Brady's success was, I don't want to say dependent, but it was hinged on a system on both sides of the ball that had to be successful.
And I'm not denying
100%.
that. I mean, yes, and that's true. And like I said, like Tom Brady is a smart quarterback, and I will never ever go against him in most of these games. He learned the game. That's what you're supposed to do. But when people come in and say, "Well, Bill Belichick wasn't really the answer," oh, he's sucking in North Carolina. I don't give a shit about that crap. I'm telling you right now, when this guy was on the field and Bill Belichick was in his damn happened, and it happened perfectly for him. It was just the way the game went. It's just their time, and that's exactly how it is
It's the way
with
the game
Kansas
has
City now.
evolved since then as to why Bill Belichick has had his deterioration in terms of his coaching success.
I
And
think so
so
too. I think that he really was spoiled with Brady as it started progressing, and then
Yeah,
it
this
deteriorated.
absolutely.
what Nick is saying leads to a conversation that all the three of us have had 100,000 times on this show, and there's a difference between who's the best and who's the greatest. You
Hmm.
know, a lot of people try to lump those two words in together, and
They're
to
not.
me, they're two separate categories because Justin has said out of his own mouth the year that Brady took over, Bledsoe professionally was still a better quarterback than Tom Brady, but he wasn't the right fit for the team. But he was an overall better quarterback NFL wise that season. And so,
He was the veteran that needed to be in his ear. He was that veteran presence for Brady that he needed to have him become the NFL quarterback that Brady became.
Can't teach
Yeah,
an old dog new tricks. When Drew Bledsoe was out there, he was a gunslinger. He liked to throw his picks all the time. That's what
I
they needed.
know.
Brady.
I
Brady.
remember
That's
very
what I'm
well.
saying. Brady managed those games. He didn't make the mistakes because he didn't dare to take those mistakes. And I mean, like I said, like when it comes down to it, that team, that dynasty of the Patriots it was built on Bill Belichick. But later on in the years, Brady started getting his feel, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I want to see another systemized quarterback where it comes down. And I think Baker Mayfield. I thought for sure that Jimmy Garoppolo, when he went to San Francisco the first time, was going to be great. And that went against me. And everybody always says, well, if the system's so easy, why doesn't every quarterback do it? And I'm like, you know what? That's a good answer because I don't have an answer for it. It's just the way it's all about comprehending and understanding, I guess.
And we talked about this in the chat for ad nauseum. I've said it before, and I'll admit it. I'll say it again. For the first 3 Super Bowls that Brady won in New England, he was a game manager.
Yes.
He was a game manager. He wasn't going out winning games because he was out winning games. He was out there keeping the team in it while the defense did their job.
and
It
see,
wasn't
this
until
is
the
where
second 3 that you can make the argument that Brady was winning those games.
well, see, yeah, that's where the real GOAT argument for Brady can come into play.
Mm-hmm.
He got better and better and better and better as time went on. Because
Mm-hmm.
you're right, for the first 3 years, the first 3 rings, he was a system quarterback, and for the first, I would say up until 07,
Mm-hmm.
no, he may have been winning the games over Peyton Manning, but nobody even thought he was a better quarterback than Peyton
Oh,
Manning.
absolutely agree. He just had the team had Peyton's number. It wasn't Brady having Peyton's number, and that's the other thing that people continue to confuse and continue to screw up. The quarterbacks aren't playing each other; they're playing
I
the
know.
Exactly.
Yeah,
defense.
I'm with you. I kind of feel the
Yeah.
same way. Mahomes and
It-
Jackson. Mahomes don't guard Lamar Jackson.
Or
You know what
Mahomes
I mean?
and Allen.
No, right. And it wasn't that Peyton Manning couldn't beat Tom Brady. Peyton Manning couldn't beat Bill Belichick's defense. It had him baffled. It had him confused. And let's not forget, that New England defense was physical. And that New England defense invented a rule that hadn't been invented yet because they were hitting the Colts receivers past the 5 yards. That wasn't a rule before New England.
They
So
were the
that
Legion
snow
of Boom
game.
before the Legion of Boom were the Legion of Boom.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
And
and
I've said it before. I do not think Tom Brady is the most skilled or the best quarterback that's ever played.
No,
I do think
most
he's the greatest
accomplished.
because, yes, that's why I put him as the greatest because of the accomplished. I think Aaron Rodgers is a better quarterback than him. I think Peyton Manning was a better quarterback than him. I think Patrick Mahomes is a better quarterback than him. But what makes you great is winning despite your flaws. And Brady, albeit still a very sharp, very strong arm, very accurate quarterback, had flaws. He wasn't mobile. He got happy feet in the pocket. Let's not act like he didn't. He didn't want to, even in his younger years, after he took that pop in Buffalo, he did not want to get hit again. He in big moments, yes, he would stand there and take the hit if he had to,
Right.
especially if it was a big down. But he got happy feet a lot, and he didn't have the strongest arm. It wasn't weak. It wasn't Aaron Rodgers. It wasn't as accurate as Drew Brees. He wasn't as mobile as Mahomes or Rodgers, but he always found a way to get the job done.
And that's absolutely correct. And and then this is where another thing comes into play with the debate on the GOAT. It all comes down to those rings. I can tell you this: if Patrick Mahomes ties him for 7 rings, those stats are not even going to be. Brady's not even sniffing him. It's
Yeah.
all gone. It's done.
I
It
agree.
literally will be that way. Everything.
I don't
That's what I'm
think
saying.
Mahomes has to get to 7. I don't think Mahomes has to get to 7
5.
to pass Brady for the GOAT. 5. I think 5.
But
I
what?
think
Especially
6 for me.
that's fine. I mean,
But
I think
but again, we're comparing Gala apples to Macintosh apples. It's. I mean, they're both great in their own right.
And
yes.
that's absolutely true, but we're still picking from a tree, and that's the reason why we're all having this discussion still. And it'll keep on going. I don't think Joe Montana and Tom Brady should be discussed together. They're in 2 different friggin' gaps, and for some reason, it still comes down to that. And I mean, that's not fair to Joe Montana. That was a
No,
way different league back then. But
Yeah,
No, so I think
100%.
I just want to say, yeah, I think Nick touched on that perfectly, just the system quarterback and just the whole thing. And that's what I was gonna say. That's why I don't like ranking football players, man. There's too many factors. And basketball on top of that, you play both sides of the ball. You have the defense they have. The Colts for a long time were known for putting up points in the regular season, but they got to the playoffs. They had to play in New England a couple times, which didn't work in their favor when they got smashed. I just don't. It's just too hard, man, to compare football quarterbacks. Like it's definitely a discussion. There's just too or just football players in general, man. There's just too much I think
There's
that
so many
goes into play
variables. There's so many
because
variables that go into play with it all.
people love, with the which again, I think way Nick broke it down was perfect. Peyton Manning, look at the first few years of his career as a quarterback, him and Mahomes, as far as football players, yeah. I mean, if he gets to 5, it's gonna be because he's just so much of a better player. But I don't know, man. It's just so much goes into it when it comes to football, and then people I just think the consistency for measuring the quote unquote GOAT among whichever media outlet you go to or whatever it is can change. And it's
No,
just
it
hard
can.
too
It
because we
100%
don't
can.
know. I mean, because look how long Brady's spent in New England. We don't know what would have happened elsewhere. I mean, Peyton Manning's was what he had. I think only Tony Dungy in Indianapolis, and he had what Kubiak, and I want to say John
he
Fox
had
in Denver.
Mora too, his
Oh,
rookie
early in his
Demora.
year.
career, yeah.
Playoffs.
And let's not forget, there's a reason why it's a 52-man roster.
He had
Yeah.
Caldwell too. Jim Caldwell.
Oh yeah,
Oh,
Jim
after
Caldwell. Yeah,
Dungy,
after
right, right.
Caldwell. Yeah.
But there's a reason why it's a 52-man roster, not an 11-man.
Yeah, and that's
100%.
absolutely true. That's
And
why I like having that kind of debate with it. I will always say it does take the quarterback to guide the players, and it starts with the quarterback. But I'll always put if you want to have the great team, you got to get the head coach first and let him cook. And I think that's where I'm going with. If Kevin O'Connell, everybody's like, "Well, you guys let Sam Darnold go." I can't believe it. Last year, no one even cared about Sam Darnold. Now
No.
this year, everybody does. Now I'm like, this is what we're
he's
gonna do with JJ McCarthy. We need a
balling.
long-term quarterback.
No, 100%. And you almost had to give up Sam because of how early you drafted JJ. You obviously Sam had a phenomenal year, but you can't just keep putting JJ on the shelf and not seeing what potential he has. Because albeit Sam had a great year, that playoff game in LA showed his limitations still, even with the great system that Minnesota has.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get rid of a quarterback one and done, I mean, time will tell. wherever we'll be. I'm glad Sam Darnold's doing great. He is branching off, and he's looking way different from the Jets and Carolina days, and I'm so happy for that guy. And I'm glad, and I hope Kevin O'Connell is the reason why he was successful, and it just gives me more hope for my team that we have like one of the best coaches in the NFL that can train these quarterbacks to be who they should be.
Yeah. Oh, you certainly have one of the best quarterback coaches for sure. If not, you know what I mean? I don't know about head coaches entirely, but as far as quarterback coaches, as far as getting your quarterback ready, getting your quarterback developed, Kevin O'Connell's top notch. That him and Kyle Shanahan are 1-2.
Yep, I definitely agree.
When we talk about the GOAT situation, there's one thing that, Justin and I think have had a consensus on since 2018 in our Wayfair days, and that there is one unanimous GOAT in professional team sports.
Yeah.
And it's Wayne Gretzky. That's it. Everybody else, you can make a case for somebody else. In hockey, it's Gretzky and everybody else.
Is that because of basketball now? Michael Jordan, and LeBron, and Kobe. Is that why?
You can make the argument for somebody else in their respective sport. There's only one unanimous GOAT in professional sports, and that's Gretzky in hockey.
Yeah, I agree with that.
In football, right? NFL, you could argue maybe even Lawrence Taylor if that's your preference. You could argue Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. There's Joe Montana. So many different levels to it. But in basketball, Jordan, Kareem, LeBron, Kobe. In hockey, it's Gretzky, and that's it.
Yeah.
Ovechkin. You can only make the argument for Ovechkin if he caught Gretzky, but he's not catching Gretzky.
Not a chance.
Not a snowball's chance in hell.
No, 0% chance.
He'd have to be like 15 years younger for that to be considered.
10 minutes.
The craziest 10 minutes. The craziest stat in sports history to me still is that Wayne Gretzky could have never scored a professional goal and would still have the most points in NHL history.
Yep.
That is beyond absurd. That's crazy. How many assists he had. Yeah. If he could have never scored a goal, he'd still be all-time points leader. That's how much.
Now, if that were the case, then Ovechkin would be challenging him. If that were the case.
Yes.
Let's keep the World Series in the United States, though. I know Sean likes Vladdy Jr., but come on, man. Go Mariners. 2-0 right now.
That series is over.
Dodgers, man. That game starts in like a few minutes. Did you see that play last night, Justin?
That was insane. I honestly thought it was a double play. I wasn't watching the game actively. I went back and watched it. I was like, because I didn't see that it actually hit off the wall. I thought
it hit the wall, yeah.
What I thought it was, it deflected off his glove. He caught it, and then all the shenanigans on the infield went on.
What a beam, though! Especially what a absolute dart of a throw. But we went from the top center fielder to the second baseman to home plate, right?
To the cutoff, so yeah.
Just
8-6-2 unassisted double play.
Yeah. Perfection.
Because I was like, he caught it.
Other thing you got to feel for the Brewers. I can't remember who the batter was who struck out at the end, but if he takes one for the team, it's a tie game.
Yeah.
Because that was if he didn't jump out of the way, that's a tie game 2-2 going to extra innings. If not game over, the next batter.
So obviously we got about 8 minutes left, then we got to jump to the pick segment. So just 2-minute segment here about our teams really quickly here. Guys, Dak Prescott, I just want to throw this out there. He set a record, and I want you to. It's not a good record, but there's nothing bad that he did. So over the last 3 games, he has over 11 touchdowns, no turnovers, and a quarterback rating of over 120. With that being said, after the game against Carolina, he became the first quarterback in NFL history with that stat line to not have a winning record over those 3 games. They are 1-1-1 over that stretch. They are the only team in the NFL right now scoring over 30 a game and letting over 30 points a game. Nick mentioned earlier, they're the Bengals of last year. Nick, they're worse. This is on pace to be one of the worst defenses in NFL history, coincided with an offense who might finish in top 5 in points in NFL history.
Well, they get plenty of time to score because the defense is letting the other team score so quick. Yeah, it's crazy, man. I know we were talking about the Carolina Panthers announcer going crazy over Rico Dowdle, and I know you said you hated it. That made it all the much sweeter when he killed you guys this past weekend.
Yeah, he did. And we got CeeDee Lamb coming back this week. We got Cavonte Turpin coming back this week. We got Tyler Booker coming back this week. So our offense is going to be in full form against Washington here on Sunday. So, you know, whoever has the ball last is going to win that game. So whoever that is, who knows?
Did I miss something where Rico was having a revenge game? Did they leave on bad terms? I don't think anything was going out about it.
I thought it was
I
just
thought
like
everything was fine.
a too many cooks in the kitchen kind of cut.
So
Yeah,
Rico wanted to resign, but we ended up signing Javonte Williams instead.
Okay.
Oh,
I mean,
okay.
generally speaking, Javonte Williams is an upgrade to Rico Dowdle. Generally
He
speaking,
is, but I mean,
I mean, these imaginary friggin' revenge games with Diggs last week and Rico this week. I'm like, geez, you guys need to be pissed off at someone more often. If that's the way to win, holy crap.
Speaking of
right?
yeah, no
Diggs,
kidding.
that dime by Drake May this weekend,
Beautiful
man.
throw.
Drake
Beautiful throw.
became the fourth quarterback in NFL history in 5 consecutive games to throw over 200 yards, have a pass rating over 100, and without or something of that nature. But again, he joined Dan Marino, Dak Prescott, and Patrick Mahomes for the most consecutive games of having that in 5 consecutive
More
games.
yards. Geez, they took away a couple of those passes. I was like, wow. I'm like, I
He
can't believe
should
they're
have
calling
had nearly
flag on
400
that.
yards passing if it weren't for those shit refs.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no kidding. Geez, that stuff on Diggs, I was like, where is it? It ain't
There
there.
was nothing, not on
Yeah.
either one. Neither one
So-
of the OPI calls were OPI. Not one.
Yeah, I didn't see anything.
Justin, when you said that Drake May should be in consideration for MVP, right?
Not a front runner. Not a front
No,
runner.
hold on. Let me finish my point. I was actively trying to find a reason to disagree with you, and I couldn't do it.
You can't.
I was actively looking for reasons to disagree, and the only thing that I could come into play was Week 1, where he was bad.
No, Pittsburgh.
That's it.
The Pittsburgh game.
That wasn't on Drake. That was on the 5 turnovers. And Drake was only responsible for 2 out of those 5, I think.
Still, I mean, but again, he's been balling, and that's the one thing that
the only game I think Drake was bad. The only game I think Drake was bad was against the Raiders.
The first game against the Raiders was a bad game. Yes, absolutely, and that's what I was saying when we came back on. It's like same old Patriots, nothing different, nothing new.
Yeah.
But
since then, I think he's been top 6 in the league.
I'd argue top 5, but that's okay.
I think you could put Baker, Daniel Jones, and Dak ahead of Drake's play so far, and then potentially
maybe
Sam
Stafford.
Darnold. The Rams, Ian, I wish we could have more time in this first segment because the Rams have been looking real shaky the past couple weeks.
I mean, we won. It felt like we
should have lost.
It felt like we should have lost, but man, like I know a win's a win in the NFL, but good Lord, that just felt terrible. And we were playing.
That's how I felt after the Giants. That's how I felt after the Giants game.
And the game, and just this last weekend with the Saints. I mean, the score was not indicative of how close that game was.
No, the Saints
not only the score, man, it's just how we played. Like it just yeah. No, I mean honestly, it's hard to predict a blowout in the NFL.
You called it, Justin. You said the Saints game was going to be close.
It was going to be close because the Saints are scrappy, but they were going to come out on top.
Yeah, and I'm really interested to see what you guys do with Atlanta. I mean, Atlanta seems like their team hitting on all cylinders right now.
I've got something to say about that game when we get to it.
I'm interested to see Matthew Stafford's face on the sideline when he's in the playoffs and his field goal kicker gets blown.
Oh, and that's another goddamn issue, man. Our kicking game
They bother me.
Yeah, no, it makes me
I'm happy I don't have to worry about that. Anytime we line up for a field goal, I'm like, oh, that's in. Don't even got to
better
worry
to
about it.
have
He's
it, not
drilling this
need
shit.
it, than need it and not have it. No, seriously, I mean, look at Matt Prater, Blair Walsh. Sorry, Nick, but I mean, you could go on
Okay.
and on about these guys that just, you know what I'm
Before,
saying? I don't want to run into that.
oh, before we run out of time, I got a funny story. We were at a mutual friend's house of ours watching the Vikings and the Seahawks game, right? It was the 2015 playoffs. Blair Walsh misses the field goal. Nick
27
walks
yards.
Nick walks out of the house for like 5-10 minutes. Comes back in, is silent, looks us dead in the eyes. Of guys, I feel like a family member just died.
It fucking hits, man. It
No,
hit me
I mean,
hard.
I felt the same way in '08 when the Patriots lost the undefeated season to the Giants. That felt like someone in the family died.
Man, you had already
Yeah.
got 3 Super Bowls already. By that point, he's never
But that
experienced
was,
no
but that
turn.
was like that was gonna put you cream of the crop best team ever. That
Yeah.
one hurt.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I feel that.
that's what was it? 37
It's-
yards?
27.
It was a
Holy,
chip shot.
27.
It was a chip shot.
And it
We
was
were gonna win that.
wide left. It was wide left.
and the
It was
announcer
like
lost
Justin
his
Tucker
mind.
was killing it.
All right, the part one, we got like 20 seconds left. We'll see you guys in part two for the pit segment. We got to
Sounds
take
good.
a break because I'm not paying for Zoom Pro.
Nope. See you guys in 10.
Yeah.